Captain's log.
Right.
Star date 2017. I encountered 4 comics.
I am no man. I must destroy imperfection.
Plankton.
Yourself. You are imperfect. I am no man. I am no man. I am no man. One of my early bits.
Yeah.
Let's all do our first Star Trek bit. It was Army issue at the time. Had to have one. Does anyone here have a rifleman bit?
Wow.
Sarlacc.
My bit was like, the kid always said, Pa, how come I sound like Dinosaur?
That's right. Hey.
The fuck?
Hey, don't
I
mess with
try to
Rifleman.
tell my kids how bad I was, but they don't believe it. And I tell them that, and they go, oh.
Hey, don't mess with him. He's really good with a rifle. Who's not good with a rifle?
The other guys who go from here to here to here. He was like, hey. Sarlacc seemed giant, and he could hold the biggest microphone like this with 3
Sarlacc.
fingers. Like, hey, how's everybody doing?
Steele's impression of Sarlacc, he's got this stiff move. It's hilarious.
And he still says
Hey,
lunch.
having a good time today?
He still says luncheon meat.
That's right.
I go rolling.
Introduce it.
From Studio P in Sausalito, the home of the hit, it's time for
Succotash.
Yes, Succotash Chats, the original comedy soundcast featuring interviews from comedy
Soundcast.
soundcasters, comedians, soundcasters, and other showbiz folks. And here's your host, internationally recognized comedy soundcast soundcaster, Marc Hershon.
Byrons of Dana Carvey, along with mutual friends Marc Pitta, Larry Buckles-Brown, and
Yes.
this is just a
And
chance
special
if-
guest Tony DePaul.
Yes, if he shows up. The invitation's gone out. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Very rare we're together, regardless of a podcast.
Yes, that's true. But here we are now.
Working on our spec strip of Apple's Way.
That would be Larry Brown.
That's that hidden running joke. Is that a series?
Apple's Way was with.
Oh.
Yeah. It's just one of those things that makes.
The hardest ever made him laugh.
No one ever remembers the Monroes.
Oh, I remember the name.
You do? The
Remember
kids
name.
lost in the forest?
No, I don't remember the plot. Really.
Want to regale us with the log line for the Monroes?
Just kids lost in the forest. That's
We
all I
have-
remember. We got a color TV, and it was one of the few things we could get on color. In color.
Might have lost some listeners with those 2 references right there.
Or gain them. You never can tell.
Remember the show Turn On? It was a George Slaughter show.
Yes.
It was so bad it was actually canceled. I think it went across country. It was canceled before it hit the West
Yeah,
Coast.
that's
I
true.
have an
Sorry,
idea.
George.
I don't want to take over your podcast.
No, this is just
But
an
this
open
reminds me,
discussion,
what if we
so-
did famous comedians of San Francisco's punchlines and you have to guess who they are?
Oh, God, I left in '82. I'm not going to win in this one.
No, and again, more listeners fleeing.
Okay, but
Flee!
Let's keep it. This is international.
Yes.
This is global.
That's right. It's an international audience for Succotash, the Comedy Soundcast Soundcast.
can we play the game after the podcast?
We can play a game that Pitta would love. We can go through the decades. Favorite movie of 5 seconds. Favorite movie from the 1960s. 5 seconds.
In the Heat of the Night?
That's not a good one. Anyway. No, that was good. I saw Sidney Poitier at a charity benefit. I said, they call me Mr. Tibbs. Oh, he took a swing. No, he's Phil Russell as an actor. Okay, Larry, favorite movie 1970s?
The 3 Days of the Condor.
Wow, good one. And when did you first see that?
So 2 years ago with you and Mark.
That was the
He'd
first
never
time you
seen
saw
it. Yeah.
And I didn't want to see it. I thought it was going to suck. And you guys said, yeah, well, and it was actually good. It was great.
It's very good.
They're
Dead. They're all dead.
They're all dead. I just read books.
Dana Carvey.
Oh, Condor.
Favorite movie of the 80s.
Ooh, 80s.
Out of Africa.
Wow. That was quick, too.
Well, I'm just going to say one. That's the good thing about the pressure of this. Otherwise, this goes on forever.
Of course.
We don't even have a
Spit
podcast.
one out.
Well, let's have you in the 90s. Marc Hershon. Favorite movie of the 90s? Can't think too long.
Oh, any kind of alien movie doesn't really matter.
Was there an alien in the 90s? There must
Yes,
have been.
Yes, there had to be. I think Alien 3 was probably in the 90s.
Oh, you know what? I take back. Well, yeah, I think the first Alien, that was 81, right?
Yeah.
June 79.
You have the
Oh, okay, then I was still correct for the 80s.
Yes.
you have the box set. I watched Alien a couple weeks ago just because I hadn't seen it in so long.
Brilliant.
So you've been stealing
Aquila.
Dana's movies?
Aquila.
Is that what's going on?
The same drawer.
What's the movie is this from? Aquila. Aquila.
Behind the green door?
No, it was Sigourney Weaver in Alien. As she's getting into the spacesuit, she was muttering to herself,
Oh.
Aquila. Now we just Scotland. We got the analytics.
Really?
Scotland just went up. No, I don't know. Aquila. Okay.
Wow.
He loves movies.
Yeah.
What we have here, we saw that the other night.
We watched Cool Hand Luke on Blu-ray.
Quit
feeding off me! Larry thinks it was a...
Cool Hand Luke is very homoerotic, I thought.
That's why they have the car wash scene with the girl.
Wouldn't it be Hot Hand Luke or he's Cool Hand Luke? Does it mean he's jacking off prisoners? What are you talking about?
They're all shirtless and a bunch of men in a room. I thought.
No, I know fun facts about Paul Newman.
Yeah.
Because I've asked when I was in North Hollywood at the gym, I'd ask the old stunt guys, who's the toughest guy in Hollywood, thinking John Wayne, in the history of, and they go, oh, Paul Newman. I go, why? Well, he could take so much pain. So he would sip his Budweisers, because I knew a guy who was his assistant on Cool Hand Luke. He'd get through a case, 24 of them. He wouldn't finish all of them, but he would go through 24 Budweisers. Then in the morning, they said no one could stay in the hot box from the movie. He would go into the sweat box. Because a lot of the actors were boozing up in those days, but he could stay in longer, and then he'd get in a tub where he was staying, and he'd have a straw packed in ice. It was the same with Lee Marvin. They gave him B12, packed his head in ice, sat him on the set, and then put a Coors in his hand. They started all over again. Wow. So the Newman was just incredibly tough.
Well, they said, the actors on the extras on the DVD said that he would open up the trunk of the car, and we'd all have beer because it was so hot. And they shot that in Stockton, California.
I
Yeah.
know that.
Huh.
I worked with George Kennedy. As
I know you did.
From Monster Maker.
Don't mess with a man with no eyes, Luke.
You gonna do it, right, Luke? It's the whole movie's about living through.
Only the world shaker, Luke.
And he said that was his favorite actor to work with, was Paul Newman. He loved being on that set.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Paul Newman and his wife always flew separately in case there was a crash.
Wow.
Yeah,
And again, Larry has the trivia about death.
I remember, I think there was an interview with him, and I think it was Rolling Stone or something, and the interviewer, I thought it was interesting, he pointed this out, that they were walking along a road near Newman's house doing the interview, and every time a car would come, Newman would pick up a rock, and he'd sort of turn away from the road and throw the rock, so they couldn't kind of make him from the car going by.
Yeah, I heard he'd go to a bar in Connecticut and go, what time is it, to the bartender, he'd give the time, because he knew he only had maybe 15 minutes to have a beer and he had to leave.
Before someone paid.
Just go right to the payphone and then the line would be out there. I met him twice. Once I read for him for Harry and Son, the one that Robbie Benson, that fucker got.
How much did he net?
And went in nervous as hell, was patched with the, I was matched with the young actors. Paul Newman's there. He had red socks on. Joan Woodward's petting a dog. I can't believe I'm talking to him, and he's telling us all about the scene for like 20 minutes, incredibly nice. And I was just so awful. I could barely speak, and I went out and go, that was weird. She goes, yeah, it was weird. You fucked me. And then I saw him 12 years later in the White House where, he said that Dan Quayle wouldn't talk to him and stuff. And, that George Bush Sr. and I was there, and that was kind of cool. So I met him twice, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, okay.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Met him. Well, that's a good. Now, my favorite question to comedians and such is, what famous people have you slept with? But
Okay, all right.
Besides Angie Dickinson? We don't do it because it's easy. We do it because it's hard. Why is that never not funny? We don't do it. It's easy. We do it hard.
I met Angie Dickinson once. I was getting my hair cut at a San Vicente, Joanne Harris salon, and she was the only other person in there. And I was cutting up with Joanne. I've known her for years. And then Joanne left the room to get something. And Angie goes, you should ask her out. You guys are really good together. I should have said, I want to hear Rat Pack stories, but I was too polite to her.
Should have given her the business when you had the chance.
Thanks, Wally. All of a sudden, we're Fever Cleaver here. Don't give me the business. It's a lovely dress you're wearing.
Larry celebrating his 167th birthday.
Genetics.
I got to get some arterial chelation. Which Paul Newman was one of the first people to do that. He came like in the 70s. He would come to someplace in Redwood City and get his arteries cleared.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, the whole thing about him putting his head
It's a
in
whole other
ice.
podcast.
Do you know there's a place called Madeira that it's all about
Cryogenics
cold?
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know
To
anything
heal
about
your
that?
body and stuff.
I met the
Yeah.
woman who runs it. She was at a party from Ren Magazine last weekend.
Do you think there's something to it?
I don't know.
It's an anti-inflammatory thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it stops the cells from dividing. I don't know. What do you want from me?
Yeah, then there was that horror story from a couple of years ago. There was a place in Phoenix or something, and some woman who worked there went in after hours, and she couldn't get out.
Oh,
it was horrible, horrible death.
Our worst nightmare, eternal life.
Now, Walt Disney, they just froze the head, right?
I think
Or is
so.
it the whole
I
body?
think Ted
Ted Williams?
Ted Williams
Ted
was
was
the
the
head.
head.
Yeah.
I think Walt could afford the whole body.
Keep it in the bowling ball bag.
This podcast is taking a horrible turn.
Or
Don't
a
be
delightful
frozen.
turn.
I'm going to be put in a giant thing of amber because that's how they bring things back in Jurassic Park. Don't be frozen. Be put in amber.
That's interesting. Mm-hmm. I'm planning to be cremated, and I have instructions to be mixed into an acrylic and formed into a garden gnome with my likeness.
I'm going to go old school. I'm going old school with a tombstone that says 5 minutes visiting time minimum. Larry, your thoughts?
Oh, just do the classic Golden Gate Bridge.
Is there new netting
Not
up there?
very creative,
Have you
but
scoped it out? Doesn't it have a safety thing now?
they're putting that net on
They won't
for
put it
$200 million,
You're
which would.
spry. You can climb
200
over-
million for a net?
Yeah.
You can climb over that. You're pretty spry.
Well, I
You
figure
can spring off
you
it.
get a big jug of Diet Coke and drop a roll of Mentos in, just shoot yourself clear. I got this figured out. Halfway to Alcatraz.
How did he do it? He did the rocket.
How are you?
There's other ways you can kill yourself. Walk through the hate saying Lady Gaga sucks.
What about best way to murder someone? What would you do if you had
You're
to?
trying to get away with it, or just
Yeah.
the best way to?
No, the best way to get away with a murder.
I feel like Robert Culp in Columbo.
Who's gonna go
You
first?
take an ice pick because you stab him in the throat and it melts and there's no weapon.
You mean an icicle?
Icicle. What
Yeah,
I
but
said.
then you're
I-
still but still they're going to interview and what happened. You're at the scene of the crime. It seems a little scary.
And then I would look at my watch like Robert Culp and say, if there's anything else, Lieutenant,
I
really
have
should go.
one that I think is the best. But
Yeah.
Larry,
I would just think, before they had the cameras
Well-
and everything, the Golden Gate Bridge on a foggy night, if you just drove somebody out there and hurled them over the side,
that's what I was thinking. You go, your victim. It's assuming you know them, and you go hiking with them on sheer cliffs, and you go, look at that over there, and you just push them, and then you make sure that all the marks look like they slipped.
I think that's my wife's idea, because she's always, whenever we're hiking, she always goes, "I just have this tremendous urge to push you over." Like, what are you talking about? She goes, "No, I can resist it, but I just have this urge."
That's hilarious.
Sweet.
That's the keeper of the year.
Sweet, sweet woman.
So romantic.
you guys are going to last forever.
Can we get up maybe a topic that's maybe more uplifting?
Cheerful?
Sure.
Okay, what's your favorite ice cream?
I you know what? You did my crying thing. You just-
It's not, it's a catch.
It's a
like,
catch.
I couldn't believe
Well, I'm
it.
excited,
It's not
yeah.
really crying, it's more like exasperation.
Yes, it's not trying not to cry is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit. All right, your thoughts. Why did you bring us all together? Do you have an agenda?
No agenda. Just wanted to sit around with a couple friends and you and talk about stuff. No,
You were my only roommate ever.
I know, right?
Oh, I
5
no
years.
wait. There was that girl for 3 months because she got fired and she got kicked out. She worked at the station
5
with me.
years. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that,
And what was our catchphrase?
we had a catchphrase.
Yeah.
What was our catchphrase? Oh, do you have any pot?
Do you have any pot?
Yeah, it's just-
Yeah, no matter what.
Neither of us are smoking, but we just say,
Yeah.
"Do you have any pot? Any at all?"
Yeah. Funny to us.
Oh, yes, exactly.
That big microphone gets in your front. It's tight. It's tighten up time.
Oh, yeah.
Woo-wee! Yeah, it's everybody here. 300 years collective experience in show business, tight as drums.
Tongue-tied.
Just completely.
But I want to get back to Mark being disorganized. You brought us together. You're counting on us to be funny with no topic.
I didn't say funny. It's just conversation. It's a conversation. If it's funny, it's great. If it's not funny, it doesn't matter.
I'm thinking of the listeners.
They don't give a shit.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the lazy, hazy, crazy days of summer. Bill Hayward here to tell tell you about the latest invention from Henderson's Pants, Summer Stock Slacks. Just like those amazing Broadway shows that leave the Great White Way to hit the road and make money off the rubes in the flyover states, Henderson's Summer Stock Pants look great on the outside, but they're really cheaply made, using the flimsiest of materials and very little attention to detail. They look great on the outside from 20 feet away. Oh, but trust me, these suckers barely hold up past the first wearing. And by first wearing, I'm talking about the try-on in the dressing room. And once you wash them for the first time, you can just plan on throwing your brand new Henderson Summer Stock Slacks away. Ultra cheap to make. You'd think Henderson's would pass the savings on to you. But oh my goodness, no. These handsome but useless trousers are just as expensive as our top-of-the-line dress slacks. Originally designed for out-of-towners, yokels, and complete schlemiels, Henderson Summer Stock Slacks are available in little tourist shops wherever trinkets and tchotchkes are sold. That's Henderson's, makers of ephemeral garments and transitory togs since 1354. And now back to the unique permanence of Succotash.
Let's talk about what makes comedians laugh.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, what does make comedians laugh?
Oh, you know, their friend doing a bit and really committing and it getting no laugh. That's the funniest thing. Your friend dying on stage is the funniest thing, but still trying. That's the funniest thing, I think. Funnier than any comedian could.
I could, through the magic of technology, bring Bobby Slayton into this podcast.
How so?
I have a very funny voicemail from him. All I said to him, I was in New York, where's the best place for pizza? And it is to me, it's hysterical.
Will it be able to be heard, understood?
Yeah.
When you're playing it off your phone, I mean?
Speaker? Have you ever tried that with this?
No, but let's give it a shot.
Well, I have to turn my phone off. I was polite enough to turn it off. And Larry, by the way, Larry, I always want to say to Larry, take a picture, send it to me. And Larry, how old is your phone? Oh, it's a flip.
The flip.
Watson, come here, I need you.
I can't believe that still works.
Oh, it's a good one. It does have a camera on here. I'm going to take a picture
smart.
of you.
Jeez.
Did you ever hear that back at the
crystal clear?
It was when the powder went off and we got the flash. It really brought home how old the fucking phone is.
You should have had like something over your head to kind of clue it in. You know?
A Daguerre type.
Okay, ready? This is Bobby Slayton. I said it was in New York, but it was the next day that he returned my call of, hey, where's the best place to get pizza?
Okay.
Ready? All right, here we go.
Here we go. Bobby Slayton.
Hit play.
It's too late to get pizza last night. But if you're back in the village, I love Arturo's Pizza right by the Comedy Cellar. It's really good right there on Thompson and Houston. Ben's is great for a slice. That's up on Spring Street. They're still there. They were always really good for a slice. I love over by McDougal, of course, you got your John's Pizza. It's too late, though. Last night is over. But on the corner, right across the street from John's Pizza, is Kesti, which is more of Italian-style pizza. That's great pizza. If you want a slice, I'm sure you know down the street from John's, Joe's is the best gas up and slice anywhere. But on the other end, on 7th Avenue, instead of 6th, on 7th, on that corner, there's also a great slice. And a great Italian ice. That's right by John's. I think you know all these things probably already. But it's too late. But it's never too late for pizza. It's worth going back to the village. Now, if you're in Chelsea...
Okay, that's good enough.
Jeez Louise.
Wow.
That's unbelievable.
That's like a visitor's guide.
I know.
Fantastic.
It makes me laugh that he
The
just does
slowest
that.
I ever heard him talk.
It's fantastic.
Born 2 weeks apart, Dana and Bobby.
Really?
Me and Bobby? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Here I am leaving a message as Jeff Bridges to a friend. I don't know if this is any good, but...
Oh, good.
Now we're playing message.
It's just old Jeff Bridges here. Yeah, let's see. I hear tell you're doing one of them spaceship shows. And, I just like to throw my hat in the ring. I don't like to do it through agents and all the nonsense. And, well, if you feel me, ring me up. You got my number. Good day.
So I left that for J.J. Abrams, as if Jeff Bridges was calling him up to get in one of the new spaceship shows. The key to him is just like yours. He's always had just too much to eat.
What does Jeff Bridges eat?
He just ate like I had a foot-long Subway. Should have got the 6-inch double cheese, but I just sure love that jingle. I'm going to loosen up my belt in a minute, but I'm just stuffed in here awful tight.
It's a fun thing to do.
Would Jeff Bridges like Dente Moore stew?
Well, I like stew all right. I once ate the hindquarters of a black Angus 2-sitting bow helped me, and we got it done pretty good. I just don't know how to loosen my belt. I'm a little arthritic in the elbow, so I just keep it tight.
What did Abrams think of the message?
Oh, he loved it. I don't know if this was another one.
Jeff Bridges didn't appreciate the call from JJ.
Okay, so here's me leaving a message for JJ as Michael Caine. Same kind of thing, asking for a job.
This is Michael Caine. I don't mean to disturb. I thought it'd be all right if I rang you straight away and not bother with the agents and all those folks. So I heard you're making a motion picture, and I wanted to throw my hat into the ring for one of the parts. I'm not naive as to know that I don't have a few miles on me, but maybe this old geezer's got one more lap around the track. If you don't mind, ring me when you can. This is Michael Caine. Some people call me Sir, but I prefer Mike. And I hope you're having a good day.
So it's just a funny idea.
Mike Caine.
That all these guys keep calling up, trying to get jobs.
But no one's doing Jeff Bridges. That's my favorite.
Could you tell the boys the story of you doing Tough Guys with Burt Lancaster and Kirk Douglas? And how many takes that they did?
Well, one of the things about doing Burt Lancaster and Kirk Douglas' last movie, one of the little things that I hadn't told Mark until recently, was that they would do like 20 takes on Burt Lancaster. We're doing a scene of 3 of us. 20 takes on Kirk. Then they come around to my coverage. I do 1 take, and then Kirk would always say, I think we got it. I think we're done. Time to move on. There's no reason to do more. Show business. It never ends.
I think the kid is cute.
One of the things that we had on when Dana and Larry were on the show before, that was an excerpt from that footage we were doing for the 3 Still Standing when we were driving on the road gig, and you got into that whole John Wayne riff.
Yeah.
I think there was literally like 6 hours of it between the 2 days.
Well, I think as someone who goes through life with a lot of fear, and fear of a lot of things, driving, flying, food poisoning and everything. So John Wayne, Larry and I we'd seen, Robin, God rest his soul, had done John in his Snickers commercial. So we started talking about it, and then came upon this admiration of the character of John Wayne. And this is the linchpin. He's not only unafraid, he's furious at the idea that anyone else could possibly be afraid. And that was the catharsis of the thing. So it'd be like him with Walter Brennan, Well, let's attack Cochise, But there's 3 of us and 10,000 of them, Luke. We're going to die. I said attack. And then it wound down for...
Never wavers.
Never wavers. Well, I said, he's a submarine captain. Take her down. But we can't go down, Duke. The submarine's going to explode. Can't go that deep. I said, take her down, Pappy. She'll hold all right, because I'll tell her she'll hold. You talking about the submarine? I'm talking about the whore in the hold. Sorry.
And he's always angry.
He's just always angry.
I said I love you.
Yeah. And finally, 8 hours later, we got into John Wayne as the Pope.
That's right.
I'm not sure I believe in Jesus. I'm not sure I believe in God. You'll believe what I tell you, Pappy. Now attack. Attack who, Duke? I said attack. But you're the Pope. What am I supposed to attack? Muslims, I suppose. Sorry.
What sort of inspiration is there in doing impressions now? There's sort of less iconic people,
Totally.
right?
Well,
That's why I did that impressionist show. And
Right.
it was only like 10 impressions that people will collectively recognize.
Yeah.
Because
So-
now you can't. There's no. Who could do Jude Law? There's nothing interesting about these actors, unless they have an accent, like Colin Farrell or something. But there's no iconic actors. Is right. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think I had it one night in a hotel room. John Malkovich he's like Jeff Bridges. He's just there for the pickings.
Yeah.
That's a doable thing if you were assigned it on Saturday Night Live.
Mm.
Do John Malkovich, but you got to record it and listen. It's
He has
a pain in
kind
the
of a
ass.
lisp thing going. Yeah.
I've gone back to the past. Now I do these little impressions. Now I'm doing Cary Grant. Just because my audience is over 40.
What would Cary Grant say now?
It's him at a nudist colony. I don't like to wear any underpanties. And I did this last night, and the little kids in the corporate day were looking at me, so I explained it all to them. That was the funny part.
I was the most handsome man. Yeah.
I just said, somebody would talk like this. He just had a problem really opening his mouth. Everything came like this. It's a very fun voice to do. No matter what you say, you got to do it.
Larry,
You know what I mean?
you've never done one impression.
I used to do impressions in high school, but I sucked at them.
Who was the only one you did that you thought was good?
I did Henry Fonda 7 Days in May.
Okay.
Yeah, you do a pretty good Henry.
That high-pitched squeal you hear won't be the ambassador. That'll be the phone melting in his hand.
Wow.
Oh, I love the reference.
Nice.
Wow.
Well done.
Well, I want to know what he's thinking. Remember what was the movie with Larry Hagman as the interpreter?
That was it, yeah. 7 Days in May.
Was it 7 Days in May?
No, it was the
Failsafe.
Failsafe.
I can hear what he's saying, but I want you to tell me what he's feeling. I want to know what he's thinking on the other side.
Put it all on GAF film.
That was it. I did Henry Fonda back in the day. The only one that goes is Jimmy Stewart.
No, when the loons are here to welcome us.
Well, I did. I got lost in the woods. Couldn't get no berries. You're gonna get all the berries you need. Now let me stick my fist up your ass.
You've been listening to the alternative on Golden Pond.
Well, you're gonna get it all in there. I don't know what's gonna happen when you're in, but it's gonna be in. Sorry. This is what we do. Yeah. I've just ruined the podcast.
Are there younger comics that do impressions? I mean, and if they do, who are they doing them of?
What's the C. Thomas Riley? I'm trying to think of the ones that are a little off kilter, young people ones.
I noticed on that show you did, a lot of people doing Sarah Silverman. They were doing other comics.
Sarah Silverman, a lot of the women were doing Sophia.
The guy, the overweight guy that did John Hamm was very good because it's a visual because he has that pain look on his face. I'll do John Hamm from Mad Men. Ask me to take you to the airport.
Take me to the airport.
I don't even know you. He has a squint and a kind of.
I was taking it off. I thought it was more like I don't even know you. I thought it was I don't even know you. You. Hello. We love John Hamm.
He does some car commercials now.
Mercedes.
Mercedes.
Yeah. When you want a really good ride, it's almost going into Nicholson. Sorry.
Yeah.
What's your new Nicholson?
I just like to tell stories I've heard.
But I thought the butterscotch one.
Oh, sure. This is Nicholson at Baskin Robbins. Give me some butterscotch. Hold the butter.
So it's alcoholic Nicholson.
Yeah.
But
Where the fuck are the sprinkles?
That's why I just do the political ones because those are the only ones everybody knows.
Yeah.
Obama, everybody knows. Trump, everybody knows.
Yeah.
You do a good Trump.
It's okay. I do kind of feminine, basically. You're terrific. What's it called? Suckaroo? Teshuat? A native. I love the natives. Succotash. I just do it whatever makes me laugh. I have never been accuracy.
You should have him do Trump endorsing your podcast.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, can you do a Trump endorsing
endorsement.
Succotash?
Succotash is so tremendous. Many people are saying, they're saying tremendous Succotash. Many people are saying, I love the way he just cuts off words. He cuts himself off.
Yeah.
Many people are saying, excuse me. Many people are saying, excuse me. That I can tell you. It's terrific. That I can tell you. I can tell you that. That I can tell you. I can tell you that. That I can tell you. I like to end with that. My favorite thing is, don't you like it, Melania? Don't you love it? It's really good podcast. Mr. Donald Trump, President, person. Now that, and I tell the audience, that makes me so happy that she says person twice. Why do you have to call me that? I don't need to call you nothing, Mr. Donald President, person. Why the person? Why the double person? Why the type of person? I don't know, Mr. Donald President. Parson. I mean, that just makes me laugh. It's the most inaccurate impression.
Did she actually say that?
No, I just made it out.
See?
But it's just getting into that Lawrence Welk rhythm and giving it to Melania.
Have you ever seen anybody read a teleprompter as badly as he does? It's just so obvious when he's on a prompter.
I know, I used to have that voice because he does have a different rhythm.
Different
will do the things we do. So sad, so terribly sad. And then, he goes in the middle for the little ad
and
libs.
he's got the little
over.
OK sign for working with both hands because he points it to the teleprompter.
Yeah, and this one too, the little index finger thumb separation. The ones that work for me, you might like this one, even though I should write it out. We could write it better, but it's just Trump after World War III and we're in the bunker and he's selling us on the closed circuit TV. We had a tremendous nuclear war. Many people were saying, mushroom clouds like they've never seen. Never seen clouds this big. Stay in your bunkers, make babies, beautiful babies. I'll be on the surface with the surface dwellers and Ivanka, the princess of the surface dwellers. So I didn't have any more. It's like a science. The princess of the surface dwellers never get. It's too. The audience is not quite sure unless Hershon's in the audience.
I think that's done. That made me laugh.
Surface dweller. How do you make comedians laugh with sticky bits?
Have you ever had done an impression and the person got really mad at you?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Was that weird? I had, who's this young fuck?
I did that last night. That's my new toy, is Johnny Carson with the having the drink at the establishment.
Have me out of the car.
Oh, sorry, officer. I didn't know I was swerving. I had two slippery midgets at the hook and crook.
Yeah.
And I was doing this last night, and these little kids were, and I was explaining to them it's not even alcohol. And then we got more.
I had a praying mantis neat at the windy pillow.
A grasshopper at the windy summit.
Yeah, the windy summit.
I had a grasshopper with an anthill back.
Officer.
Officer.
So that doesn't sound like alcohol. But one of the impressions, one of the segments I did of Carson, I heard he wasn't too happy about, which I felt bad about when I was on the Tom Schneider show. Cue Marc Pitta.
Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I didn't have him when I was doing NBC, but we have him now. And joining me now is Dana Carvey. Dana,
you're making fun of Johnny. And what would you?
You're making fun of Johnny, and he didn't like it. And tell the story, sir.
That's great.
Sorry, officer. I had a.
I got some meat. I got
grasshopper.
Tom Snyder. What? Sorry.
I had a grasshopper neat at the windy summit, and I had a slippery monkey at the anthill. I was at it's a cocktail and
it just come up. Remember we had that one day down in L.A. at Dex and Tom's place. We kept the frozen soldier.
I had two frozen soldiers. At the windowsill.
Yeah.
Windowsill.
Just grabbing any random items in the room to make the joke.
What makes it so innocent? There's no sense that he's not saying, I had straight vodka and got shit-faced.
I had a quart of vodka and I'm completely shit-faced. He's like, I didn't know I was swerving. I had two pulled teeth, neat, at the lip couch.
I mean, you have to just make up.
Well, no one loved your Carson impression more than Letterman, though.
Letterman did love it. He loved more Johnny.
Well, it's funny because you're known for saying, not going to do it, which President Bush never said. And when Phil Hartman said, "You are correct, sir," Ed McMahon never said that. It's funny how it's.
Wait, didn't Ed say "You're correct, sir"? Really? But what would he say then when a joke? He'd go, "Hey ho!" He would do
hi-ho.
that.
Hi-ho. Just hi-ho.
You sure he never said "You are correct, sir"?
I don't think so.
Interesting.
So what generates the phrase that someone's never said, yet it becomes this sort of iconic element of the impression? I'm not going to.
Well, I think that was I had Jim Downey and Al Franken, Senator Al Franken, with me, and I think it was from the Lazy Syntax. Well, and that the not going to do it didn't come up till probably a year after doing it, but finally it was not going to do it, and I think Jim Downey was probably the one who thought of that. I don't know. I don't remember where it came from, but I remember on the cue cards. It would say NAGADAIT, not gonna do it. And I think one of the cue card guys actually took it as a souvenir last time I did it.
Really?
Yeah, not gonna do it. But again, I think, it's he said bitterly, no one appreciates it. It's considered just silly. It's like a blue comment. Well, he's just blue. Well, that lasts how long? Get there. I mean, come on, that's 30 seconds, and you can't just go up and be silly, make silly voices. But not gonna do it is a very proud thing, because that's something that's always funny. It hits the ear. Not gonna do it. It's just rhythmically funny, he said in a self-congratulatory in a bitter self-congratulatory. The other one...
I've never seen you this bitter.
Bitterness is a great place to live in, because then you have no personal responsibility for what's happening to you. They fucked me.
Which is funny, because Larry for years has had this alternative character named Bobby Bitter.
Oh, good. Perfect segue.
That he's done, who's, I think, the oldest comedian, is that?
97 years old.
Can we channel him, do you think?
Sounds like
Let's
Larry's already
hold our hands
Bobby.
together. Hold, Mark, you're holding mine too tight like an old roommate. And we're trying to conjure the spirit of Bobby Bitter. Is Bobby Bitter in the room?
I'm back.
Bobby, how do you feel about today's comedians?
Way too blue. You gotta work clean. Like in 1964, I opened for the Pope, Yankee Stadium. Place is going nuts. Stucco's coming off the ceiling. They had to bring in a high school brand from New Jersey just to calm the crowd down. The Pope comes backstage. I said, follow that, motherfucker. These kids today don't work clean.
I don't understand that story, but this is about censorship?
Yeah.
Bobby, when you were starting out, and then you got really big. What was the name of your television show you had?
Here's Bobby, ran for 17 years. We were very controversial. We had the first back alley abortion in 1955.
What was your crowning moment with that show?
Way ahead of its time. Well, we had the first retarded person in our cast. First retarded person in television history, not counting Tony Danza. That was Numbnuts Nielsen, who played my son Bruno's best friend.
You got a lot of women back then.
Yes, I did.
And I don't want you to drop names, but I am actually wanting you to drop some names.
I put more legs in the air than a dead centipede. Let's put it that way.
Let's just put it there.
It was too easy. It got boring. I'd have my henchmen crack their kneecaps, and
well, we're losing Bobby Bitter. The spirit is leaving us.
I wanted to hear the end of that one. My henchman would crack.
Maybe we can try to get him back.
I like the fact Bobby Bitter had henchmen. That's fantastic.
Bobby,
we gotta cut this out. That was bad.
Bobby, you seem to break you up.
We might have to cut the whole podcast out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our third attempt this afternoon. We've been here 5 hours. Welcome to Succotash podcast. All right. Well, do you want to go down memory lane? I've done my not gonna do it. He's done Bobby Bitter.
I was trying to think, is there any president? I never heard you do a Gerald Ford.
He didn't have a distinct voice.
Too bland?
Pretty much too bland. Chevy kind of owned it. Carter came in quick. I got peanut butter hair, peanut butter shoes, peanut butter belt, and peanut butter pants. That's something that I do, and it bombs every time, but I just do it for myself.
And they wouldn't let him in. The other presidents wouldn't really acknowledge him. It's almost like Gallagher. No comics want to acknowledge Gallagher. I did work with Gallagher once, and
how'd that slip by?
No. I'm saying no. I was trying to set you up for that bit.
Well, no. I'll tell the story. I was in Dallas doing a corporate, and then I was going to go to Austin and do a gig, and all the presidents were there for whatever his funeral, whatever. So I just imagined that they were trying to ditch Jimmy Carter. So it was both Bushes and Clinton and Obama having a little party in a hotel room, freshen that up for you, you know. And then it's like, hey, how you guys in there? What's up? You know, they're like, don't say anything. You go away. We're real busy, Jimmy. I got peanut butter. I got peanut butter for you. I got peanut butter hair. He's really a nutball, isn't he? So it's just that conversation. It died in Austin.
Could you do Alfred Hitchcock watching the Kardashians?
Anatomically large or appendages. I got to get into it a little bit. I don't know where I'm, imagine. Well, that was another 6 hour.
We did, it was Albert, it was Tippi Hedren. That was
Tippi Hedren is just in her trailer at the end of the day shooting, I mean, I come in Tippi. Oh, hi, Mr. Hitchcock. What's going on? Where'd everybody go? They've departed. Oh, well, I'll see you later. That's not exactly what I had in mind. Oh, do you want to run lines? Not exactly. What I have in mind was an entirely different sort of activity. Well, what do you mean? We want to do a wardrobe change? Now you're getting warm. So that was a long ad lib. The Tippy never gets it, and that's another. I have my act I do out in the public, and then I have this whole entire other act that's only good for podcasting. Yeah. Because you can't do it with it's too tin air.
Was there a phrase of unimaginable horror?
Oh yeah.
I'm going to show you something
It's unimaginable horror. Where a certain orifice makes contact with a certain appendage. What do you mean, Mr. Hitchcock? Is this a new rewrite or something? Is Rod Taylor here? No. He's gone home. We're completely deserted. Even the security guards have left the premises. The lights are off. We have no power. We're not going any. Well, I need to get home. You're not going home.
Say bungalow as Hitchcock.
Bungalow.
It was just relentless.
That's a good one.
Oh, bungalow.
So these are for another 6-hour live streaming podcast.
I have a question for our host, Marc Hershon.
Yes.
What description of this podcast are you going to put in your in there?
A casual conversation among comedy friends.
Oh, okay.
How about that?
All right.
Now, you were in the podcast game for a while.
I did.
You had a podcast?
When I booked the Throckmorton, I would return the comedians to the airport, and I always do it in my car. I'm not saying Jerry Seinfeld heard it.
Okay.
But I was always in the car with my comedians going to the airport.
Would you stop for coffee?
He threw in coffee, and he's
okay.
he needed some money.
Yeah.
So, what do you...
Bobby Bitter.
Yeah, I couldn't get any traffic. The two that were the most listened to were Dana and Jimmy Fallon. That was it. No one wanted to hear from Larry.
Yeah.
You got to
give me
have
a bad name of a
hook
comedian.
on a podcast, right? So there's someone that asked me to do one where people come on and just talk about their fears and phobias.
Yeah.
And
I had Bob Zadie once, and I
you
said...
need a hook.
Yeah. I said, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. What could be a hook for a Marc Pitta podcast? Bars.
I like the fears.
Yeah, there's what's his name? He's got I can't remember the title of it now, but it's it's mostly comics, but he has other people come on, showbiz people, and that's all they talk about. It's they mostly talk about depression. There's a depression there's a couple of different depression podcasts.
I listen to the Carson podcast and Monster Party.
Okay.
Those the two I like a lot.
Yeah.
Just listen to Hal Gurney talk, and very, very interesting. I like old show business stories. When I was working with Gallagher, he knows he's not respected amongst the comedians. And he told me a story being in Nebraska, it was Tennessee. And he was at a motel, not a hotel, and he was outside having a cigarette, and a limo drives up. Who would have a limo? And Entourage gets out. It's Dolly Parton. And he goes, Dolly, it's Gallagher, the comedian. And she doesn't even break stride. She goes, so it is. And just keeps walking.
Wow.
That's
sad.
That's a Gallagher story.
Yeah, come on again.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Who they had? I was just listening to the Carson podcast a couple weeks ago. Their guest was who's the old NBC newscaster?
Tom Brokaw.
Tom Brokaw.
Talking about I've been asked to be on that, so I just haven't had a chance.
Oh,
They had
that's
a lot of good guests on there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny because I was just saying that I was on I was in first class with Tom Brokaw, and he never spoke because his voice would give it away. If he said, I can't get into the overhead.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he just looks like an old man in class.
I was wondering about the peanuts were coming by. I'm doing Dana's version.
But people did it before me. I think Harry Shearer, I probably asphyxiated. The big go-to when I first did Brokaw was the Winter Olympics, that you got asphyxiated because of the words. And tonight in the double slalom event, later we have Shaun White snowboarding, and then curling. I do some oxygen. I'm asphyxiated by winter sport. You know what? I can do a podcast where it's just Johnny's back. And play it straight.
Yeah.
And just I'm here.
And talk about current events.
Current events.
Carson.
Is that right?
Yeah.
ISIS. So they chopped off so many heads, even Kathy Griffin got offended.
Just Johnny's back. And I would hold the character. I could do it for 45 minutes.
Just hold and have guests on, play straight. So Marc Pitta, I understand you're back in Northern California. You're doing some stand-up. You're going to go to Las Vegas this weekend, I understand?
I'm gonna be staying at the lonely Parallax and having a wine spritzer.
I had a wounded goose up with a twist at the Windy Summit at the
Windy
And would you open with a monologue? Would you have like a short monologue?
Oh yeah, I think Mark would be great at this.
I would love to do
write jokes, current jokes in Johnny's voice. That's what would be fun to hear.
Bring Karnak back with modern references.
Oh God, that would be so much fun. I would love to write that.
Yeah.
I would love to do Art Fern again, but use actors today like Dylan McDermott, Dermot Mulroney, Francis McDormand, and Leo the Wonder Walrus, and Mr. Sulu has a secret. But first,
copyright.
You jumped on my punchline. I'm the last thing.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I didn't know you were
Too late now.
I'm just thinking I'm thinking in reality, you couldn't. Could you take his intellectual properties
of Art Fern?
Well, certainly you could go Johnny's back and just do a show like this.
Sure.
That would just be.
Let's see if we can come up. Let's think of a topic. See if we can come up.
No, I did a
joke.
Well,
Johnny.
Can I just say I did a Hitler roast, and they wanted me to do Karnak, so I got to write Karnak jokes, and one of them was just a second. A type of blender, a type of fish, and the second in command of the Third Reich. Name a wearing, a herring, and a Gehring.
I had a reverse engineer joke. I don't do jokes very well, but this was asking Casey Kasem, why is he going to the bathroom and how is he going to kill himself?
Number one, with a bullet. Just kind of a nice one. But Johnny, you used to start to think like the way Johnny would think if you talk about the Trump. So Trump ratings were so low that even, and then joke to come, that kind of thing. Yeah. That'd be fun. Johnny's back. Maybe just a half-hour podcast.
You pointed out how Johnny always acted like the audience was retarded. You got to watch the monitor.
Yeah.
For those of you at home, you're watching a thing called television, and those images.
That's what he didn't like.
They're not actually in your.
That's the part
room.
He didn't like, though, right?
No, there was a sketch that was written that made him come off kind of senile. He didn't know that Susan Day was off the Partridge Family.
So how's that show going with David Cassidy?
You've been off for 10 years. So I didn't really blame him. It wasn't the best one. I enjoyed doing it. When you do Carson, the persona on camera, you just instantly become very gentle and nice and accommodating.
Okay, then how about this? Carson doing jokes on binge watching. That's a pretty good topic.
I was binge watching Bloodline, and I needed an infusion.
I don't know.
I was.
For those of you listening, this is how jokes are written.
I was binge watching Better Call Saul, and I thought I'd better get a new show to binge watch.
That's not bad.
Yeah, no,
you just get in the mindset. Yeah,
it's always that weird sort of callback-y play on words.
Yeah, and then you have someone come on and play someone like who's 100 years old.
Yeah.
So I understand you still drive. Is that right?
I'm driving around, that kind of stuff. But it would be fun. Johnny's back, maybe. Yeah. The thing about podcasts is also the idea. I'm just reiterating for myself, remembering you can do multiple podcasts.
Yeah.
You do Johnny's back, and that could be just 20 minutes a week, and then you do another one as yourself. But
Johnny's back would be fun.
That would be a good segment.
Just to do it.
Yeah.
So Bernie Sanders is he's a socialist. Is that it? So I understand, Bill Cosby. You put something in a girl's water, and she wakes up, and you're in a robe. Tell us about that.
Yeah, and there's a joke there.
Bill Cosby. I think everybody knows because I was already in the place with the thing, and I don't know.
He's like the happiest guy.
Bill Cosby's.
He's so happy.
Now, Bill, I heard you're gonna do a tour of colleges where you're gonna
explain how not to get accused of sexual harassment. Write what you know.
There's a joke there. That's like Hitler.
Yeah. Larry, your thoughts?
He's doing a sequel to While You Were Sleeping.
I'm doing a sequel to While You Were Sleeping.
I can't believe I did that in my special. No reviewer ever got to the incendiary parts.
Yeah.
But I was like, you put the pill in the lady and you touch the titty.
Maybe I got it wrong. I don't know.
All right.
But Johnny.
The Johnny Carson podcast would be great, and you could even have like one celebrity guest.
Oh yeah, even if they just called in and just current events and have
people that always miss the fact they never got to be on Johnny Carson.
Yeah, and just his take on current events.
Which is why I can't watch I'm Dying Up Here, because I've never been in a position to watch something I was part of and go, oh, that's not how it went.
Yeah.
Now I'm that guy, the guy that complains,
that's not right.
Mitzi never said that.
Yeah. I think also the fun of doing Carson would be doing it kind of straight at times with interviewing.
Yeah.
So Larry Brown, you've been in San Francisco for a number of years, I understand.
35 years.
Is that right? I did not know that. So you started at a place. I understand. Someone told me you started at a place called the Holy City Zoo. Is that's an interesting?
Yeah, it wasn't a church. It was a small club on Clement Street.
Oh, so it wasn't a church. Maybe you have a laugh track. I don't know. So you prayed to the comedy gods. You wouldn't bomb. Is that it?
I don't understand. Were there llamas at the zoo? Or?
Was it a petting zoo?
Now, a lot of people remember...
Now you're talking. Now I want to come back in with the petting. Because I can pet certain things.
Wow. What was
You
your
thought
first
this was a good
joke?
idea?
Yeah, this is fantastic.
Your first joke that was your consistent go-to that worked every time, your stand-up. Larry Brown.
First joke
That
was,
worked consistently. That was like, okay, I got that one.
I said it off stage, and someone said, that's really funny. I didn't say it as a joke. It was, if you don't get laid a lot when you're young, you don't get laid a lot when you're old. And that first joke, it killed for some reason. So.
Okay.
You ever do a joke where you don't think it's funny and they do? And you got to keep it in your act? Like,
Sometimes I hate the audience for that. When they laugh at stuff that I...
The biggest laughs are the jokes I hate. The ones I like, they never like.
No, my first joke was brought up a Catholic. Here's something you'll never hear at Catholic school. Hey, what are you wearing tomorrow?
That's right, yeah.
Mine was the first that would work every time. My closer, the first year I did it, was the X-rated Wizard of Oz.
Oh,
Which is a natural thing to do, and so and it's gonna be bad, folks.
Yeah.
This is the Scarecrow
Strap
song.
in, here we go.
1979.
And this is me on stage, looking 12 years old. Yeah. Scarecrow song. I'd get hard and I'd have foreplay. I'd even have some more play if I only had a dick. Come on, man.
Out of their seats.
Out of their seats. Oh, they went crazy. And it was the Tin Man was, oil my ass, and bring back the witch's dildo. That was my closer. Back in the very early days.
Well, Tom Snyder would say, well, sir, he didn't have a penis, and you're actually correct.
Yes, exactly. And everyone had a Star Trek bit of some kind.
And I never did.
Really?
Larry never had a Star Trek bit.
No, I never saw an episode of Star Trek.
Oh.
Well, let's just clarify. You don't have a television. Let's just say that.
I did then.
Oh, you did? Okay. Describe what's in your...
I don't like sci-fi for some reason. It just makes me depressed.
Describe what your apartment is in. What is in your apartment?
I'm a minimalist. I got a computer that's on dial-up. I got a mattress.
A mattress?
I got a mattress and some... like 3 shirts and 2 pairs of pants.
But minimalists actually have a bed frame. You don't have a bed frame?
I do have a bed frame.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm not a savage.
And how long have you been in your apartment?
That's what she said.
Since 84.
Rent controlled? Or
Rent control,
rent
I'm
stabilized.
kind of trapped there. It's like I hate the area and I want to leave, but it's...
Yeah, the Marina, San Francisco.
The price is right.
Very windy. Like the Windy Summit, I think, is this.
I had a frozen squirrel at the landing gear.
Now, as opposed to Larry, Mark, you live in a variety of places around San Francisco in the Bay Area, right?
No, I never lived in San Francisco. I've always lived in Marin. I've lived in Mill Valley.
Marin, San Leandro.
But not in San Francisco, because I want to park.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've got the classic migratory pattern of someone evading child support.
Larry had the best line at my roast, if you can remember what it was.
Oh, yeah. It was...
Mark Pitta started his
You
career
started out at the Holy City Zoo.
in 1981.
30 years later, you're at the Frogmore in Mill Valley. 10 miles in 30 years.
Yeah.
A dung beetle makes more progress.
I had a dung beetle meat in the floating basket.
Dung beetle
meat on the rocks.
Johnny's his horrible life. It's hilarious.
You know, as far as Johnny's back, you could actually have drinks that he talks about throughout the podcast and then put them online. Actually, a quarter shot of amaretto.
Well, we do a segment on the show called Boozin' with Bill, with my announcer, Bill Haywatt.
Oh,
okay. He actually makes up drinks. In fact, we just had a session sitting...
I see a lawsuit.
At a coffee shop.
Totally sober, right?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, and we've come up with 4 new Boozin' with Bill bits, so that fits perfectly into that idea of creating goofy-sounding drinks.
Right, yeah.
Like, names of towns, and it's fun.
Yeah.
It was really actually grasshoppers.
Larry, you got a text?
I'm going to document this day.
No, you're shooting. Let me just say, you're shooting towards windows, so we're all going to be silhouetted. So don't worry about it. Okay.
He's like a modern day Ansel Adams.
He's like Zelig.
That's a good one.
That's nice.
Flip phone's crystal clear.
Perhaps our phones would take a better photo.
I got a chip phone. It drives the car and answers your phone. Good night.
So, Dana, you've been spending a lot of time in Los Angeles.
Living in Los Angeles,
And
basically, yes.
What's that been like, having left the bucolic Bay Area?
It's amazing how quickly I adapted.
Yeah? Right back to it then.
Well, I have a set of friends up here. 3 are here. Yeah. Basically, my best friends up here. Paul Wright, Chip, you guys, Marc Pitta, Marc Hershon, Larry Bubbles Brown, neighbors, stuff like that. In LA, all of a sudden, I picked up pretty quick. Lovitz came around.
Oh, okay.
And David Spade, I see a lot.
And you go to the same restaurant, not to plug it, but you go there.
Koi restaurant. We all meet there all the time. Dennis Miller came down one time. For Christ's sakes, Carvey, it's the best food ever.
I got to do Dennis Miller once on his old talk show on TNT.
Oh, yeah.
And because it wasn't Johnny Carson, I wore jeans, cowboy boots, sport jacket, and a button-down shirt. Pitta, you got a whole McLeod thing going there.
Yeah. No one funnier. But yeah, West Hollywood. It's kind of nice. I was doing this voice for a movie, Secret Life of Pets, $875 million worldwide gross, and it's like a 4-minute drive. I used to, when I had meetings, I had to either, because I always drove, because I not like Larry, I didn't like to fly, so you have no fear now. But,
no fear.
But I would drive a lot.
Yeah.
Going to back to the Comedy Store is kind of funny. The Improv, Laugh Factory.
And you didn't go to the store much in the early days.
Never did. No. Yeah. Huh. Mitzi didn't. Get some puppets. Everyone has a Mitzi store.
Well, you kind of, back then, it was like you either did the Comedy Store or the Improv, because Bud and Mitzi kind of had this thing.
Take it outside.
Clear the aisles, please.
Clear the aisles. That was Bud Friedman, ladies and gentlemen.
One time I walked up with Larry Miller, Jerry Seinfeld, and someone else. And he goes, oh, I go, what about me, Bud? He goes, there's a pecking order. There's a pecking order. See, it'd be more funny to me to watch a show with Bud, not Mitzi, because she's not doing Mitzi.
Booze up sauce monkey.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's one of the great expressions.
Boozed up
sauce monkey.
And you see Overton on there? Is the guy? He's the talent buyer for the Tonight Show.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Is he doing Macaulay, like the Macaulay type?
His name's Mitch something or other. But
that's a long
I'll have
name.
to watch it.
Yeah.
Or get to it.
I'd have to watch it like Malcolm McDowell and Clockwork Orange. Someone's going to take my eyes and pin them back.
Okay.
One thing I do like is because when the housekeepers come, yes, 1%er, but when I want to, my guilty pleasure is going to matinees, which Marc Hershon and I used to go to all the time. I love empty theaters. We went to one once where it was
oh my God,
just the two of us.
Starship Troopers.
Right, and no one else.
And Dana, we'd take our popcorn, we get a little kernel, we just spit it.
Yeah, it was just fun. So I go to the ArcLight.
And we could talk, or we could talk. Like,
this isn't really working.
What is that? It was fun.
So that's my guilty pleasure. And the movie theaters down there are just ridiculous.
Yeah, you can drink in them.
If you want to drink, and they're just like the sound and
the
thing, and the pageantry of the movie theaters.
I was in a movie theater, and it was in Atlanta, and it was lounge seating. They had a waiter. He had a little blue light that popped up. If you want, I had sliders, a margarita, and I was watching Jason Bourne, the last one, which is all action. I almost fell asleep just from the alcohol, the food, and the lounging. It was like, this isn't right. It doesn't keep you awake.
Good gosh. And of course, Mississippi Joe, I should mention him, my neighbor. Good gosh, sir, you're looking in fit shape. Slip on down. He's from Mississippi. Hopefully he hears this, but yeah.
I went to a movie theater once in Minnesota. I was doing a gig. It was a Wednesday, and I walk to the window. I buy my ticket. I go through the door. The guy who sold me my ticket comes around, takes my ticket, rips it in half, and says, "Do you want anything from the snack bar before I turn on the projector?" That's how lonely it was on the road that day.
Well, Quentin Tarantino bought a few years ago. There's a theater on Beverly and refurbished it, and it's an $8 ticket, incredible popcorn, and 35mm prints.
Great show.
And you can go online and get the calendar.
The Arrow, was it?
I don't know what it is now, but
the Arrow?
I kind of want to go there. He had like, oh God, what was that Rock Hudson movie where the submarines in Antarctica and comes up? He was showing. Yeah, he had that, and he has double bills and like incredible.
My favorite Rock Hudson movie is Seconds. You ever see that?
Yeah.
That was almost his favorite movie.
Howard Hughes?
He watched Ice Age 68 times.
Mm-hmm. I love Howard Hughes.
Yeah, he's great.
What a freak.
We don't have eccentrics like him anymore, do we?
Well, he had that accent. I think he became a codeine addict.
He got the billions, right? He's a billionaire.
Yeah.
We'll wrap it up. It seems I've got nowhere to
So
go
I
now.
understand that. So he was a codeine. Is that it?
Let me see how much time we
Now, when I was growing up, matinee meant something totally
Should I
different.
give the listeners their
Little
opinions?
matinee with Carol Wayne.
Yeah, we're actually, we can.
Melvin Dumar's thumbprint.
Yes. May Matt Damon climb up your Ben Affleck.
It'd just be fun. Johnny's back.
Okay, so we've got a new podcast idea came out of this. Marc Pitta, where can people find you or see you or talk to you?
I put a lot of stuff on YouTube. Just go there. A lot of fun stuff I shoot and make.
But you're in Vegas this weekend.
I'm opening for
When
Rob.
is
When
this
does this air?
I can put this up this next week, so it'll be there before the weekend.
July 1st
You're in
and
Vegas.
July 1st and 2nd.
With?
Rob, can I talk?
No.
July 1st and 2nd at the Tropicana in the Big Room with Rob Schneider.
Nice.
And I was going to go a day early to see Mel Brooks, but that sold out. Him at the Wynn.
Where he just shows.
He shows clips, talks about his movies as a moderator. But then I'd watch that. I would want to be the moderator, so. Because I would.
Someone told me, or my agent said, I could go out, tour the country, show Wayne's World, and take Q&A, even without Mike.
Well, remember we were at the.
And make as much as I would
Piece
doing
of cake.
stand-up.
Yeah.
We were at this huge casino. It was called the biggest casino in the world. It
In
was
Oklahoma.
And the guy who's coming next week was Al Pacino, just
Yeah.
to do Q&A.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds like a great way to make money.
How would that sound, Al?
So yeah, I understand that you're out and you're doing sort of a little review show or something.
I talk about everything. I was talking about Superco and how I had a badge. I was on the turnpike. Oh, I could pull people over with that badge. I would get out and go, we need to get through here. Anyway, funny stuff.
Well, it sounds like a feel-good show of the year, Ed. That's terrific. Maybe we'll get a VCR and have a field day with what was the one with Ellen Barkin? What was that?
That was Sea of Love. Oh, that woman had an ass.
Sea of Love. That's
Great ass!
reminds me of my ex-wives. Orgasms ahoy!
I don't want to say I'm a method actor, but let me say I was making Ellen barking. Oh, woof woof.
No idea.
Larry?
This is magic.
Sometimes it happens. You can't predict it, folks.
No, it's like lightning in a bottle. In fact, you were hit by lightning, weren't you, as a child?
I was hit by lightning when I was 14.
That's right.
And I got the only gray hair I have is over this ear where I kind of got buzzed by it. And
Oh, wow. So lightning causes.
I was closing my mother told me to go upstairs and close this window during an electrical storm back in Ohio. So as I started to close the window, it hit the window frame, just knocked me back 15 feet. And I still have my ears are ringing now from that. It's just the tinnitus.
Really, because you've developed tinnitus.
Yeah, I had one on my a new chiropractor, and the hearing came back. And there's now it's less of a hum, but I don't know how you feel about holistic.
Maybe you guys
Larry.
should trade notes and try.
It's funny. There was a pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals, and forgive me because I don't remember his name. He was hit by lightning twice on the mound. That is freaky. So lightning does strike twice. I just want to make you paranoid.
So I got another one. It's coming. You know,
Well-
God doesn't like you if he hits you with lightning.
This was fun.
Thank you, everybody, for your time.
I thought I had tinnitus. Turns out I still have a landline. Ringing was coming from somewhere.
Larry, we didn't talk about how you felt about doing Letterman twice with a span of.
That was great. The first time was a lot of comics used to bomb that show, so I remember that one was terrifying. The second one was I'd been around so long, I just thought, well, if I bomb, I'm just going to quit, really get out, and they went okay, so I stayed in.
You destroyed. How many applause breaks? 5, 6?
They were like seals.
Which is weird because we don't want applause breaks because it screws up the rhythm of the next joke.
Yeah, well, those shows are like they're hard to get, but they're fun to do. The crowds are pretty wired, so it'd be hard to bomb.
One of my favorite comics, Rocky Laporte, he was this character, so I'm kind of a stupid guy, When he gets a laugh, it's funny to watch him hold for the laugh in character, because he has to do it a long time. He gets really good jokes. He's got to go, it's just funny.
So like Sylvester Stallone's son or something?
Yeah, basically. It sounds like that. Yeah.
He got a standing ovation on Tonight Show.
Yeah, and it was like 30 seconds before it ended, and you didn't get any acknowledgement for it. Leno would throw comics on at the very end, near the end. It's like, well, there's no more ratings. But,
All right. Well,
I guess.
We're good. Thank you, everybody.
Looks like heaven released the hostages.
This has been Succotash.
I'll close this out separately. Yeah, this has been Succotash, the Comedy Soundcast Soundcast, with my guests Dana Carvey, Marc Pitta, and Larry Bubbles Brown.
We didn't even find out why he's called Bubbles.
We've talked about it.
We'll save that for the Here's Johnny podcast.
Yeah, Johnny's back.
Johnny's back, and we have Bubbles.
Now on the Succotash Network. All right.
Yes.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
You've been listening to Succotash, the Comedy Soundcast Soundcast, with your host, Marc Hershon. Brought to you by Henderson's Pants and...
Imagine your company's name right here.
Find us on the web at succotashshow.com, on iTunes, on Stitcher Smart Radio, on SoundCloud, and on the Laughable app. You can also hear us streaming and like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Succotash Show. Email us at
marc@succotashshow.com.
Or call into the Succotash hotline at our non-toll-free call number, 818-921-7212.
That number again is 818-921-7212.
You can also upload clips from your favorite comedy soundcasts directly to us using our direct upload link at hightail.com/u/Succotash. Succotash is produced and engineered with the kind assistance of Joe Paulino through the auspices of Studio P Sausalito, home of the hit. Our associate producer is Tyson Sainer. Our musical director is Scott Carvey. Our booth assistant is Kenny Durges. Until next time, I am your loyal booth announcer, Bill Haywatt, reminding you to please pass the Succotash. Goodbye.
Thanks, that was great.
That'll go straight to video.
A lot of editing. Who could be bored listening to that?
That would be bored. Be interesting. I'll clip it down.
They won't be bored.
When I do George Kennedy, could you actually use the real George Kennedy? Make me sound like this guy's awesome.
Oh, it's a funny take, yeah.
3-word, ed-a-teen.
Editing. Oh, editing.
So you're heading...
Shake it, boss.
I'm going to the nap. You guys are so funny. I love it. I want the Wild West Indian Casino tour to come back.
We're going to book something.
Get back on
Maybe
the road again.
we'll book a casino up north or something for fun. And have Chip drive us.
I was in Ukiah at the...
Windy Summit. That's the Windy Summit.
Windy Summit.
I was at the fishing hole, and I had a Barbary Coast.
The grasshopper.
You had a grasshopper back at the Windy Summit, officer.
I had a Barbary
The hook
Coast.
and crook.